Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the
Fate Grand Order Year 1 Recap.
I want to thank everyone for stopping by. As the anniversary event is still going on, I wanted to go over everything we've experienced, or at least I have, for this past year in Fate Grand Order. We'll go over events and the past singularities that have all released in this past year. We'll also cover all the 5 stars that I've gained, and some of the best moments shared by me to you guys. We'll be covering events first, and then singularities. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Neurofest, the Coliseum of Victory.
Neurofest is being the first real event in Fate Grand Order, and when I started it, I was a little bit taken aback because I didn't understand what to do at first. I was really confused, and at the time, I was still very much not wanting to look at stuff that had already released in Japan, so I wanted to experience it blind. Even then, it was a bit confusing at first. Luckily, people helped me out throughout the experience. Through this event, you get a limited edition 5-star craft essence called Nightless Rose. And this is where I also got my first Nero Claudius. I'm so happy about it. She's my favorite character if you guys don't know. So getting her was like the best feeling ever. I know she's a 4-star, but she's literally my favorite character.
Does Moon Goddess dream of dumplings?
Now the dumpling thing, it was a bit hard for me to understand again. It's both of these first 2 events, I was kind of thrown off. Because I didn't understand the most efficient way of grinding, and I didn't know it was doing the 5 AP quest. So here I was for a good day or two doing the high AP quest, thinking, oh, this is the best way to do it, when in reality it wasn't. This one we also got a new craft essence, a 5-star one, Moonlight Fest. Unfortunately I never got Orion, but I'm in no rush. Even though Orion does have some great dumplings.
The Adventure of Singing Pumpkin Castle. Mad Party 2017.
Then we have the pumpkin one, and I liked this one a bit more because it had a map to it. It wasn't just like in the main hub, you could actually move around the map. It just had more style than the past 2 events. Instead of a 5-star craft fence, you get a 4-star Elizabeth Bathory, who is in her decked out in nice Halloween clothes. It's an alright one. Now there are more Halloween Elizabeths to come, so be prepared for that if you don't know about it yet. I won't spoil you. And there's a fairly decent, actually, craft essence here in the Halloween one, the Halloween Princess, which increases MP strength by 15 and starts to gauge off by 30% at the beginning of battle. It's pretty good. So I'm glad I actually got one of those too. This also introduced the 4-star characters, like welfare characters is what people like to call them. And when you ascend them, their ascension are only changes at the final ascension. But luckily, you don't have to actually use like pieces or like material items. Through the event, you get the necessary materials to increase the character. And for the most part, none of them are very hard. Or I should say, none of it is very hard to get. You can ascend this character pretty easily.
Fate Gura Gura Hononji.
Then we move over to my favorite. This is probably my favorite of all time. The Gura Gura Hononji, I love it so much. Because it gave me one of my second favorite and third favorite. She's in the top 10. Hell, top 5. She's in my top 5. Oda Nobunaga. Absolutely amazing. I love her. I love her voice actress, Ria Kukumiya. You can't beat her. You can't beat Nobu. It introduces a new style of event where it was ranking points. So the more points you got, the more rewards you get as well. I like this one way more than the others because I like the thought of reaching milestones. And there was always something ahead to look forward to. So this style of event is my favorite. This also introduced the Craft Essence Experience cards, which are very useful. I can't wait for more events that have the Craft Essence Experience cards. It just makes leveling up Craft Essences so much easier. Overall, this one was one of my favorites.
Almost Weekly Santa Altar.
Then the Christmas event, the Almost Weekly Santa Altar. Jack the Ripper was introduced in Nursery Rhyme as well. I didn't get either of them, which kind of sucks. I really want Jack so much, but it's going to probably have to wait some other time. The free servant being this time, Artoria. I don't like really calling her Altria, but Artoria Pendragon Santa Altar. I like her a lot. She's probably one of my best riders right now. Since I lack any 5-star riders, she's probably just going to be, for me at least, a very strong asset. In this one, they introduced a lottery type system where you got the event items and then you rolled on a lottery and it would pull 1 to 10 items and you would just try to clear out the whole thing. It was a limited number of items, so it made it a bit easier getting everything because you pretty much knew the amount you had to get, and it wasn't very hard to get it either. One of my least favorite things about it though was that it had a schedule, so every day it would change to the next night. Meaning by if you cleared like the first event the first day, you would have to wait tomorrow, which I mean it's a thing to get people to log in daily, so in that sense it makes sense for them to do it that way, but I didn't like it personally. I would have rather just been able to clear all the events. But that kind of strategy for events isn't going anywhere, so I'm not really going to complain about it.
Saber Wars, Lily's Cosmic Winter Rebellion.
Next up we have Saber Wars. This is where you can finally max Noble Phantasm 5 your Lily's Saber if you really wanted to. I understand there are people out there who want like to max Noble Phantasm characters. I did, of course, because why not? This will introduce one of my favorite gag characters, Mysterious Heroine X. She's absolutely hilarious. I love the storyline in this one the most, and even the story itself was presented in a new manner. At least they had editing in between like the cutscenes and stuff. So I really like this one. At least I like the story behind it. This one also introduced like attack bonuses for certain servants and craft essences, making it the event a bit easier for those who had certain servants. Unfortunately, I didn't get MHX, but maybe I will someday in the future.
Chocolate Ladies Commotion, Valentine 2018.
Then we went to Chocolate Ladies Commotion, which really kind of went under my radar. I didn't care too much about this one, to be honest. This one presented you with many different craft essences from the female characters. But I mean, hey, it did unlock a lot more interludes, but mainly for female characters, Antalante, Skahawk, Tamamo, and Frankenstein. And there are a ton of craft essences to obtain from this. Now most likely I'm very salty and didn't care about this one because I didn't get Neo Claudia's Bride, something I was gunning for. Like, literally the only thing I cared about during the event. And I didn't get her, so I got scorned, and I probably just got salty for the rest of the time and didn't want to do it anymore.
The Garden of Sinners, the Garden of Order.
And this one introduced again another event type where it had missions, and you had to complete certain missions to unlock conditions to unlock more missions, of course. So there's something to keep going for. You can see, oh, I haven't cleared this yet, or I haven't reached this point yet. I want to keep trying, and at least that's what I liked about it. The Garden of the Center one, it seemed a bit large scale for his first attempt at this event type, at least for me, so jumping into it, it was a bit daunting. Now, I am very oblivious to the series of Kara no Kyokai. I really just know Fate stuff, and when it comes to this one, I wasn't as invested, but regardless of the fact, it was presented nicely. And we also get a new character, a new 4-star servant, Ryogi Shiki, she's an assassin, and then the banner character was Ryogi Shiki, a saber type, who was crazy good. But for me, Ryogi Shiki, the assassin version, 4-star, has helped me out quite a bit, since I don't have Jack.
Vengeful Demons Wail at the Prison Tower.
Then we move over to the very first challenge event, the Vengeful Demons Wail, and you had to clear like a certain point. I believe it was... you had to have cleared London in order to take this one on. And it was meant to be like a super hard challenge. Now I did this one and I enjoyed it actually. It is pretty difficult, I have to say, but definitely not impossible. It really does push your skills to a good limit. Now really the only rewards for this were summon tickets, but it introduced the new class, the extra class Avenger, and Edmond Dantes being the very first Avenger in the game. Avengers having great affinity against rulers, but Berserkers have good affinity against them. So it was a very niche class. Like, you would use them to defeat rulers, but the only ones we had were Shiro and Jean. It's very situational, but regardless of the fact if you got Edmund or not, there was another Avenger waiting.
Da Vinci and the 7 Counterfeit Heroic Spirits.
Jean Alter would then show up to be the second Avenger. God, is she strong. She is one of the highest damage dealing servants out there so far. Now the Da Vinci event also had a lottery system with the manuscripts that are fake and true. This one wasn't very hard either, and it introduced 3 5-star craft essences for free. My favorite one being Maiden Leading Chaldea, only because the art is so amazing in that one. And if you know the reference to it, it's pretty funny too. I like it a lot. Now this one isn't my favorite, but I like it a lot because I got John Alter. John Alter, or Jolter for short, was an overhyped servant. People were saying save for Jolter. They said don't spend anything until she drops. Knowing that is about almost a year away when people started playing the game, I've heard from the beginning when the game launched, don't even do anything, just save for her. And I think, yeah, she's a great servant. She's utterly great, but I didn't think people should probably save for her. I saved up only because before that we had Edmund Dantes and the Guardian of Sinners, two things I didn't really pull in, so I had enough Saint Quartz to pull for her. And luckily enough, I got it. Now, unfortunately, I'm unaware of when she's coming back, but hopefully for those who haven't gotten her, maybe your chance will come soon.
Fate XL Zero Order.
Then we went with the Fate XL Zero Order, which is another mission type one, similar to the Kara no Kyokai one, introducing Iskandar as a 5-star, and two new assassins, Emiya and Hassan of the 100 Personas. I have Hassan of the 100 Personas. Unfortunately, I wasn't really that interested in Iskandar. I was hoping I could get a waiver, not another, but a waiver. Unfortunately, it was a no. Now, at the very end of the Fate XL Order event, after you clear the main story, there is a 4-star character that you can get, a free welfare servant, and it's being Iris Veil, the Dress of Heaven. Hopefully for those who thought they wanted to take a slower time on the event, picked it up somewhere in the middle, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have had enough time to get this free character. I mean, it's possible to do it in a day, but it would probably just be more frustrating.
The Demonic Capital, Rashomon.
Then we go over the second challenge event, Rashomon, which I was late into getting into, but this introduces like a raid boss. The raid boss has an enormous amount of health. Enormous, like I think in the trillions, I believe. And all masters around, or at least I think US servers, would have to come together and beat Ibaraki Doji. It was pretty awesome, to say the least. It's a pretty cool concept, and I like how Fate Grand Order has used it to not create like a competitive aspect, but a cooperative aspect. Overall, I like the idea behind it, which will later be implemented in a later event. And again, similar to the Gurigura Hononji, the more damage you do to the boss, the more rewards you get also.
Sazang coming to the west.
Then we finally meet Oppai Monk Xuanzhang Sazang, who I really wanted. I really wanted a caster like her, but it's not going to happen. She's a limited servant, so she'll be back hopefully soon. Other than that, there's nothing too special about this one besides that it had 2 parts to it.
The Great Tale of Demons, Onigashima.
And then we move to the final event that has happened within the year for Fate Grand Order. The Great Tale of Demons, Onigashima. The free servant this time was a Sakata Kentoki Rider version. And I said before, Gurigura was my favorite, but I think Onigashima is. If not, they're both a heavy tie. Not only do you have damage points, you have the shop, you've got a free servant, you've got 5-star craft essences, you have raids. This is everything. This is the culmination of pretty much all the events put together in one big event. And that's why I think Onigashima is my favorite event. Unfortunately, Mama Raiko never came to me. I really did need my mother's love, but I guess not this day. And then Ibaraki Doji and then Fuma Kotaro were also available. I got Ibaraki. She's cool enough. I like her. I guess I should have mentioned Shuten was available during the Rashomon one, and I didn't get her either. I'm not going to get any of the 5-star Onis. I hate this so much. But Onigashima had so much to offer and so many rewards to give, which is why it's probably one of the best ones in my opinion. Now we finally get to the singularities, which unfortunately I don't think I am adequate enough to recap the whole story, but I'll try my best. Singularity F, Flame Contaminated City, Fuyuki. We have the first singularity, which is a prelude to the story, where we meet some lady no one cares about anymore, and our ever so wonderful Kohai Mash. And then we also meet Romani and some freaking rodent. Unfortunately, a guy called Jeff ends up betraying us, and because of this Jeff guy, we have to correct all the singularities that he ended up screwing up. But he's working for an overall greater power. First singularity, 100 Years War of the Evil Dragon, Orleans. In this one, Gilles de Rais tries to resurrect Jeanne d'Arc, but ends up failing, to say the least, and ends up making Jeanne alter. Jeanne alter gathers some servants, we gather some servants, and we fight it out. That's how most of these stories are going to end up finishing anyway. A bunch of servants kill each other until we win. Second singularity, Eternal Madness Empire, Septum. Then we move over to the second singularity, where my best girl ever, Nero Claudius, Uno indeed, reigns true. Unfortunately, Jeff comes around and he tries to give the Holy Grail to some asshole to destroy the era, but he wasn't lucky enough to find anyone. He summons some servants, including past Roman emperors, and it causes some tension between all the characters because Rome and Roma. Jeff then turns into a giant tentacle monster. After being beaten, he then summons Altera to try to destroy Rome. After an epic battle with Altera, Singularity is saved.
Third Singularity. Sealed Ends of the Four Seas, Okeanos.
Then we move over to sailing ships with Francis Drake, who ends up getting in a scuffle with Blackbeard. It doesn't really matter that much. They fight, they scuffle, and then we meet the Argonauts, whose foolish leader Jason thinks he can become a god some reason. So Hector sneaks upon Blackbeard's ship as a double agent in order to steal the law on the Urail. Jason then also becomes a tentacle, and we have to kill him.
Fourth Singularity. The Mist City, London.
Then we move over to London, where the fog is as thick as Jack the Ripper's thighs. We end up meeting Mordred, pretty good girl, pretty good, and fighting robots for a good majority of the story arc. And so with our group, the Alpha Mordred, and a bunch of beta servants, they plan to take out Project Demonic Fog, but unfortunately some guy I've never seen before turns into a tentacle once again, and we must kill him. The Angraboda that materialized Demonic Fog then summons Nikola Tesla, aka Superman. Luckily through the power of plot we defeat him, only to finally meet the big bad himself, Solomon, who holds the title of a Grand Servant, being Grandcaster Solomon. Surprisingly enough, if you're actually powered up and fully leveled team, he's actually a pushover. But unfortunately, unlike the other Singularities, this one ends at the bad end with Solomon pretty much killing everyone, and we return to Chaldea pretty much destroyed.
Fifth Singularity. North American Myth War, E Pluribus Unum.
Then we move over to America. America! We have two warring sides. We have Edison and Ku Klux Alter, I should say. Both sides are fighting against each other. Ku Klux for the sense of battle, and Edison for the sense of making a new era himself. Both sides are wrong, and we have to join up with Nightingale herself. But along with Nightingale, we also have a bunch of rebels: Geronimo, Billy the Kid, Elizabeth, Robin Hood, and Nero Claudius, Bride version. This arc is a bunch of like mini battles because it makes no sense for us to fight an army. It's a lot of espionage going around places, only to have a pretty epic fight with Ku Klux at the end. And also, yes, more tentacles. Also, this is Skahawk's like official introduction to the story. It's kind of weird.
Sixth Singularity. Divine Realm of the Round Table, Camelot.
Then we move over to Camelot, which I have not finished, but I will not spoil it because it really just came out. But expect epicness. And with that, we're done. We're finally done. I've abridged the story quite horribly, so I'm pretty sure there's someone who's going to be like, you didn't say it right. I'm 100% sure you're correct about that. But I just kind of want to end this off on how I felt about Figure in Order and some of my achievements, I would have to say. And one of the achievements being every 5-star I've gotten. I want to kind of just list them off. So this is aka humble bragging. I guess it's not even bragging, I'm just showing off. Here's to a second year. I'm really excited. The game is moving faster than I thought. When they said they wanted to catch up to JP, it might be a thing maybe by year 3 or so, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I heard like Korea or something is moving at like lightning fast speed, which is okay, pretty surprising. But I like the pace we're going right now in America. Sometimes I complain about it, but overall I think it's a pretty healthy pace. If like this was the only game you played, you would be doing way better than me. Let's just say that. And regardless of all the salt that I may experience because of summoning, I really do like this game a lot. It's one of my favorites. The overall quality it has somehow managed to keep is amazing. And only when I look at JP and what they're doing, it only gets better from here. So thanks for sticking along with me, especially if you're a subscriber of mine, or maybe you're a new person watching this video for some reason. Thanks for watching. I'll definitely see you guys next time. Be sure to check the channel out. We've got hundreds of videos for you to enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll definitely see you guys next time. Peace out.
Oi! You want me to say something else? Da Vinci in the 7 counter. The demonic capel. Capel. Oh my god. Sorry. Sazan coming to the west. Wild Wild West. No, let me stop.